Well, good afternoon, folks, and welcome back. Cumberland Outdoorsman here, and I'm out here today doing a little bit of shooting with this old compound bow that was sent to me by Wayne Jenkins, and I got it set up today. I went ahead and I had an old TM Hunter rest here, and I got it drilled and tapped and put into the bow. There was already a hole there, but it wasn't big enough, so I drilled it out just a little bit bigger and tapped it for this screw to be able to fit. And I've got an old Archer's Choice bow sight on here, and I went ahead and put a peep on here and some string silencers. And other than that, I haven't really done anything to it. I put a little pad right here for the arrow rest to help silence it. And I came out here and shot a few arrows at 20 yards and got it somewhat dialed in here. But I just wanted to show you that these old bows that you see so commonly in pawn shops and other places, yard sales and whatever else, still do shoot pretty well, you know. And if you can't afford a brand new bow for $1,000 or $1,200, these bows here can still do the job, even though they're not as fast and not as efficient in their power transfer to those arrows. Now, speaking of arrows, the ones that came with this bow are also vintage type. These are Easton Game Getters, 2020 Easton Game Getters. And I took the old rubber fletching off and I put some turkey fletching on here. I got them in a right-hand helical twist. And with the tip and everything, these arrows weigh about 525 grains. And that's pretty heavy. But the old bow doesn't have much problem in pushing these arrows at reasonable speed. I'm going to guess that it's probably shooting around 200 feet a second or so, maybe a little bit less. But I'm going to take a few shots here at 20 yards, and we're going to see just how well this old bow can group, provided I can shoot it pretty well, you know, provided that I can shoot it well enough. So let me go ahead and get one on the string here. There's my setup there. And take a few shots here. We'll see how well it does. Aiming for that little pie plate there. A little bit low, but still in it. Feel quite a bit of vibration. I don't have a stabilizer on here now. I'm just pretty much shooting the bow just set up the way it is. Kind of a bare setup here. That's plenty fast enough to harvest a whitetail, I'm here to tell you. You're grouping just a little bit low, but that's okay. Really smooth drawing bow, to be honest with you. This is the first time I really seriously shot this bow. I didn't know how it was going to perform on camera here. That one went a little bit off to the right, but all the rest of them grouped in there pretty nicely. Let me go get those arrows and we'll do that again. Okay folks, here we go again. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Give you kind of an over-the-shoulder view here, zoomed in. I cut these arrows to 28 inches because that's my draw length. Don't know what happened on that one. Shot just a little bit to the right and low. All right. There's that 6-shot group there. Well, folks, I messed around with this TM Hunter rest a little bit. I got a little bit more tension on it to see if maybe the arrows will shoot a little bit higher and be a little bit more stable coming off this bow. I'm still shooting at 20 yards, but that's one of the things I like about these old rests, especially the TM Hunters, is they're so highly adjustable, and I've still got them on my Matthews bows. There's a lot of new rests out there now, that like the drop-away rests and others, you know, that are more high-tech, but I still like shooting these older rests because of their adjustability, especially when using them on these old bows. So let me take a few more shots and we'll see how well it does now that I've adjusted this bow or this rest. Got a little bit of a wind right now. Sometimes it just takes a little bit of tweaking to get things just right. Okay, folks, I'm going to take a few more shots, but as you could see, 5 of those arrows all grouped, I mean really close together, and some of them were touching. That one arrow went way off to the left, and I think what's going on is I've got a little interference with these cables here. I have not installed a cable guard, but I think a good cable guard that would screw into this hole here to hold these cables out of the way would enhance the accuracy of the bow and also quieten it up a little bit, because I feel this vibration from the cables, you know, when I'm releasing. So let's take a few more shots here, see what we can come up with here. As far as I can tell, these arrows are flying really, really nice, real true. Seem to be right on the money. Run a little bit off to the left there. I'm gonna hit right next to it. Almost hit that arrow. I think I hit that arrow there. Yeah, I'm getting a little interference from these cables. I felt that. I think you heard that as well. Making a little bit of noise too. Well folks, now I'm back here at the 30-yard mark, and I'm going to see how well this old bow can deliver these arrows at this distance. So let's take a few shots. See how well it shoots here. I want to zoom in just a little bit. That one went way off to the right. Okay folks, I'm going to shoot at that target. I've got 2 arrows left. I'm going to shoot at the one on the left there. Zoom in on it a little bit because I'm stacking those ones on the right pretty tightly. All right. Well, folks, as you can see, the accuracy of this bow is really still quite outstanding. You know, that's 2 shots at 20 yards. That's 4 shots at 20 yards, and all of them stacked in there really tight. Any deer that come along at that distance, if you got your bow tuned right and your arrows are flying well, there's no reason why you couldn't harvest a deer successfully with one of these old bows. I just did a real quick setup here. Like I said, I had this old rest, an old bow sight here, and I put a peep on the string here and got the bow sighted in pretty well. It still needs a cable guard, like I said. You know, I think I'm getting a little interference with the cable here, but a stabilizer and a cable guard and the quiver attachment, and you're pretty well set to hunt. You know, you're ready to go. If you get one set up right and you get out and practice and become a proficient shot with these things, there's no reason why you can't successfully use them in the deer woods. Right now, if I got in my tree stand and waited this evening for a deer to come by at 20 yards, I would have no problem harvesting a deer with this setup. It's not as fast, not as efficient, maybe not quite as quiet, but they can be made to shoot very quietly, as a lot of the newer rigs. But hey, look at how little money that you would have in it compared to a brand new rig. Now, you know, granted, they're not going to shoot as flat. You know, if you got a deer out there at 40 yards or whatever, or like that doe that I harvested here, she was at 37 yards. I mean, I put the 20-yard pin just a little bit high on her shoulder, and the arrow just dropped right into the vitals there. That's with a newer bow. You know, they shoot much faster. But with some practice with this older equipment like this, there's no reason why you can't make that kind of a shot either. You know, at 30 yards, I was hitting most of them right inside this plate here, and that's plenty accurate for a whitetail hunting or any other kind of deer at that distance. But most of the shots around here are going to be within 20 yards anyway, if you're bow hunting. Well, folks, I came out here in the woods where I got some of these old pieces of foam targets set up, sort of a makeshift stump shoot, just like I've been doing with my traditional bow. I wanted to get this old compound out here and try it out. Me and my friend Doug came out here yesterday and had a really good time shooting. Should have got that on video, but anyway, we had a good time. I'll take a few shots here. This is more realistic as far as a hunting situation, because you got trees and terrain and everything around you. You got saplings in the way that you have to try to get your arrow through. So let me take a few shots here, see how well this old bow can shoot in a woodland setting here. This is like a trip back in time, I'm telling you, you know. Show you what I'm shooting at here. There's a tree in the way, but either way you can see my arrow. And it sticks into the target here. That target's about 15 yards. Okay, I've got another one set up further down here. Let's see if I can get it focused in on here. There it is. That one there is about 18 yards. Right on the money. I'm going to take a few more shots at that little foam target down there. That was kind of fun, actually. Shoot this old bear blacktail hunter here. Perfect. There's a dead center shot right there. All right, down this hill here, inside those heavy shadows, there's another little foam block target I got set up right at the base of that tree there. It's about 18 yards. Let's see if I can get a couple of arrows into it. That's just a perfect kind of setup for a deer to show up. He's sitting up here in a tree and a deer come right through here. It's right on the money there. Or that target turned a little bit when the arrows hit it, but as you can see, that bow's shooting really well. Well, folks, in closing out, let me say that I enjoyed having you along with me. I do appreciate you watching, and hope you gained some useful information regarding these old vintage compound bows. This is for those of you that still have one of these bows, or if you are a beginning archer and you want to get into shooting a compound bow and you don't want to lay out a bunch of money right at first, you know, and you just want to see how well you like it. You can find these old bows like this at pawn shops, flea markets, yard sales. Sometimes they're in your local newspaper or whatever, and quite often, you know, you don't have to lay out a lot of money, $40, $50 for a bow like this, and then get it set up. So you can get into it relatively inexpensively. With the price of new bows nowadays, you know, a brand new bow will cost you $800 to $1,000 just for the bow. And then, you know, you have to buy an arrow rest, and then a sight, your sights and your peep and everything, and then your quiver and your arrows, your broadheads. You know, all that stuff, it adds up, because by the time you're done, you could easily have $1,500 in a brand new rig. But if you don't want to spend that much money and you just want to try to delve into it a little bit and see how well you like it, you know, you can get an old bow like this and get it set up. And there's nothing wrong with shooting older arrows like these aluminum arrows. They're quite a bit cheaper than carbon arrows. You can still find aluminum arrows available, and they shoot just as accurately as the new carbon arrows do. I know, because I've shot both. And in some cases, aluminum is probably a little bit straighter and more accurate than some of the new carbon arrows that are out there. But this is an old bear blacktail hunter. This bow dates back into, I want to say, the early 1980s. I love the way the grip feels in my hand. It's very slender, you know, not too thick and obtrusive, and it just feels really good in your hand when you're coming to full draw. But like I said, I just wanted to get it set up, you know, just the bare essentials pretty much, and take it out here and shoot it and show you all that this old equipment still does perform, you know, and well enough to take it out in the woods and harvest a deer. So with that being said, Let me also say that, once again, I appreciate you coming along. And if you like to go hunting, fishing, camping, shooting, hiking, whatever it may be, I hope you enjoy it as much as I do. And also remember, hit that like button, smash the bell icon, and subscribe. That way you'll know when more videos like this will be coming your way. So until next time, y'all take care of yourselves, stay safe, and get out there and enjoy the great outdoors. I'm going to take a couple more shots at that target because I think I'm going to hold a little bit lower and try to group some just under those arrows that I just put into it. Once you get into shooting these old bows, it's just really a lot of fun, to be honest with you. Right on the money. Y'all get out there and enjoy the great outdoors and get you an old bow and give it a try. We'll see you next time.